In tonight's headlines, the prosecutor in the Jimmy Lai case tells the court that the media tycoon was the mastermind and financial backer of an anti-China group. A weak property market prompts the government not to sell residential sites in the current quarter. And health officials warn that the winter flu season is expected to reach its peak next week.
The founder of the now-defunct Apple Daily, Jimmy Lai, was driven in a prison van to West Kowloon Magistracy this morning for Day 6 of his national security trial. He is accused of conspiring to collude with foreign forces and conspiring to publish seditious materials. Prosecutor Anthony Chow told the court that in an online program, Live Chat with Jimmy Lai on December 1, 2020, the 76-year-old media mogul told Washington that strength instead of weakness is needed to stand against Beijing. Chow said Lai told the U.S. TV show Fox Business that he hoped the Biden administration would insist on pushing for human rights as a precondition for any negotiations with China. The prosecutor said after the national security law was implemented in June 2020, the Apple Daily published 85 seditious articles before it shut down a year later. Chow said even after Lai was remanded in December 2020, he reportedly gave instructions to Apple Daily executives during prison visits on how to operate the company. Chow said Lai continued to make malicious and unfounded allegations against the SAR and Beijing, and sought sanctions against them after the national security law took effect. The media tycoon was also accused of being the mastermind and financial backer of the anti-China group Stand With Hong Kong, Fight for Freedom, or SWHK. Along with his assistant Mark Simon, Lai is said to have instructed SWHK members Andy Lee and Fin Lau through middleman Chen Zihua on the operations of the group, including placing advertisements and meeting foreign politicians in a bid to ask their governments to sanction China. The trial resumes on Monday. Janice Low, Cable News.
For the first time in several years, the government is not putting up any residential land for sale in a quarter because of the weak property market. Sites already sold this financial year are expected to provide 12,000 flats, close to the annual target of 13,000.
Taking into account this expected quarterly supply from various sources, the fact that this year's supply is rather near the annual supply target, as well as the fact that market sentiments in land tender is rather sluggish recently, the government will not separately put up any residential sites for sale in the fourth quarter.
The Development Bureau is also not offering any commercial sites this quarter, as there's a high vacancy rate for commercial floor space. The only site for tender is for a multi-story industrial building in Yuen Long. Health officials have warned that the winter influenza season is expected to reach its peak next week. 23 people suffering from flu were in serious condition last week, almost double the number of cases in the previous week.
The usual duration of the influenza season in the past varies, maybe 8 weeks or 12 weeks, sometimes longer. So it is difficult to anticipate, predict the exact duration of the influenza season and also the severity. But I would like to urge the public, if you have not yet received influenza vaccination, please receive the influenza vaccination to protect yourself.
Chuang said there has also been a rise in COVID infections. In the past 2 weeks, 2 children, one 4 years old and the other 20 months, were seriously ill with COVID. But their condition has since improved. Chuang said children should be vaccinated as a precaution.
病床嗰個住用率咧都係相對處於一個高嘅水平。
Larry Lee, the hospital authority's chief manager, says the utilization rate of public hospital beds is high. The overall occupancy rate has surged to 115%, with 90% of beds in pediatric wards occupied.
We are currently under pressure, but actually we have experience in handling such pressure. We have twice service demand surge last year, which is in the middle of the year, and also in in October last year. So our experience, we have to follow our phasic response plan. We have promulgate different measures to try to increase the turnover, the efficiency, and also the manpower of our hospital.
Maisie Mock, Cable News.
Rescuers in Japan have stepped up their search for people missing after a powerful earthquake, as the 3-day survival window is about to close. The quake, which struck on New Year's Day, has killed 82 people, but dozens more are still missing on the west coast of the main island of Honshu. About 110,000 households in the affected area are without water, and 30,000 homes have no electricity. There have been 600 tremors since Monday's quake, making search and rescue operations more difficult.
Nearly 100 people have been killed and over 200 injured in 2 bomb explosions that rocked the Iranian city of Kerman, about 800 kilometers southeast of the capital, Tehran. The blasts occurred during a ceremony to honor military commander Qasem Soleimani, who was killed by a U.S. drone in 2020. No one has claimed responsibility. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi vowed to punish those behind the attack, which was also condemned by United Nations chief Antonio Guterres.
The Secretary General calls for those responsible to be held accountable. And the Secretary General expresses his deep condolences to the bereaved families and the people and the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and he wishes the injured a speedy recovery.
Displaced Palestinian children in Gaza try to keep warm on a chilly day, but around them there's death and destruction. The constant Israeli bombardment of the besieged enclave has claimed more lives. At least 14 people were killed in overnight airstrikes in an area where the Israeli military said they could find shelter. Over 22,000 Palestinians have been killed since October, when Hamas attacked Israel. With much of Gaza laid to waste, the International Court of Justice in The Hague will convene next Thursday to hear South Africa's claim that Israel is committing genocidal acts. Retail sales in Hong Kong jumped 15.9% in November from a year ago to $34.2 billion. For the first 11 months of last year, retailers took in $370 billion, up 17% from 2022. The sale of jewelry, watches, and clocks and valuable gifts saw the greatest increase of 60.8% last month, followed by clothing, which jumped 54.1%. Supermarket sales fell 5%. The government expects the revival in the retail sector to continue with the increase of tourists and salaries. The Hong Kong stock market has yet to march into positive territory this year. Despite a late surge, the Hang Seng Index ended flat in the third session of 2024. Investors held back on concerns that the U.S. Federal Reserve might not lower interest rates anytime soon. The news that home transactions in the city slumped to a 33-year low last year hurt property firms, with Hang Lung Properties dropping 1.7% and Wharf Real Estate Investment down 1.4%.
A 13-year-old boy in the U.S. state of Oklahoma has pulled off a major surprise by beating a popular falling block video game called Tetris. The game was believed to be unbeatable as it does not have an authorized ending.
Please crash.
But Willis Gibson performed so well that he made the game freeze and crash when he reached the score 999999. Only an AI program was able to unlock the kill screen, and that was back in 2021. Gibson achieved the feats in 38 minutes. As he basked in glory, the teenager admitted that he couldn't feel his fingers because he was playing so fast.